right, what's up, YouTube? Welcome back to another episode of the Wiley Show. We are live. I have to really get into this whole thing with Tasha K and the app that she released an interview with Justice Smollett of the two African brothers that planned this fake hoax of him beating up himself and pouring bleach on himself. So she decided to interview them on her app. So it was like some issues with the particular app where it's breaking up. I'm literally listening to it now. It's crackling and all of this sounds. I'm like, but what's going on over there with this whole app? It was breaking up some. It's just really bad. But if y'all have not heard about the two brothers that did this plan with Justice Smollett, you're living under the rock. We really don't even care about the story because we have seen it. I watch it on Fox. They did a documentary on it, everything. And it's just kind of like sad that, Justice Smollett did this to his career because the man is such an amazing director and actor, etc. But when I'm listening to the Tasha K interview, one of the main pieces of the interview, she wanted she instructed the two brothers to take off their shirts. Okay. And they start showing their six pack, they start showing their body, they start showing everything. Like they were showing the entire thing, but nevertheless, it was trash. Like the interview itself, we have heard it all before. The sound wasn't good. We knew that Justice Smollett was screwing the brothers. He went to the bathhouse, went up north. We knew all of that. We knew it all. Like we knew everything. It's nothing new that came out. Now they said in an interview that they're going to sue Justice Smollett. She said take him to Judge Mathis. She don't even know that Judge Mathis pretty much is done in Chicago. His show is pretty much done anyway. But overall, on her particular app, I was kind of like, well, what's going on over here? Like back in the day on her app, it was everything. Like you would go over there, but now it's not that great. Like it's just not popping the way it was back in the day. And I would listen to the app all the time. I would tune in, I would listen to it. I would go out there and definitely go out there and say, hey, let me go out here and see what's going on with Tasha K and let me see what she's doing. But when it goes out there, when she had them take off their shirts, I'm like, come on now. It's garbage. Like, why you got these brothers taking off their shirt? Like, this is just a mess. And then she's up there dressing up in this African garment. Clearly, is boring. Now, when this story actually broke, she went nowhere. Like they didn't come on the show, nothing at all. Then she asked them, "Is Lee Daniels and the brothers getting involved? And did Lee Daniels ever reach out to them for a personal trainer? Nothing." They're not about to throw Lee Daniels under the bus. Lee Daniels is very known in the business and they want to be actors, but she just trying to get something juicy out of this interview. Nothing juicy came out of this interview, guys. Nothing have came out of this interview. Nothing at all. I was not shocked. I was not surprised. I was just literally like, okay, people are actually paying money for this particular site because there's no type of exclusive on there. Like it was a time where it was must see. You don't see it at all. And when I literally got these two brothers that is from Nigeria and they get it up the breadbasket, that's frowned upon in the African faith. I mean, you would literally be arrested if that was going on in Nigeria. But honestly, the interview itself wasn't the great. It wasn't good at all. 2 thumbs down, honestly. Because of the quality of it, this is like bad for Tasha K. Tasha K was really good, like with quality back in the day. I don't know this new setup she got. She got some typical like wireless mic. It's clearly not working with live streaming. She should have had like a hardwired cord. But when I'm listening to it, it was just great. It wasn't that great at all. It was trash. Okay. Now, hopefully that Africa look at this and be like, Tasha, get it together. This is not good at all. When I listened to this interview, I wasn't impressed at all. And also, Jesse still got his whole thing that he's in appeals right now, but it's not great. Like literally, I'm listening to right now at the 28-minute mark. at the 28-minute mark, and I can't listen to it no more. Like I have to literally zoom out on it because clearly the sound was a mess. I literally was listening to up to 28 minutes and the sound wasn't great. Like, what is going on with her sound? It's just not good at all. Okay. Not good at all. I get why she wanted them, you know what I'm saying, to take off their clothes or to be, you know, to show their chest or whatever. I guess it's like a OnlyFans type of ordeal, but it just didn't hit because if I can't hear the guests, clearly I zone out. Like literally, I listened to like 28 minutes of it, and the interview was an hour and 39 minutes. The quality wasn't there. She should have pre-recorded this interview. She's trying to get as many subscribers on the app. So say, hey, this is a live interview. And so hurry up and subscribe. You know, there's no free trial, no nothing. Because she's in desperate need of money. Even when you go to her app, it's still, I'm sorry, for the tickets for her show, it's still for sale. Like it's still tickets for sale. So she's doing everything possible to do it. And also her show is about 15 days away and still have not sold out. And of course, she paid to be on the show because she don't do anything. Like she paying guests to be on the show. So she paid those brothers to be on the show. They're not going to get on the flight, come to that studio for free. Them type of guys are not that type of way. They're broke. They're not paid actors. They're not on any shows, right? They were a part of a crime. So they're being blackballed. And then also, too, they wasn't that great to deal with. And also, we dealing with a whole strike. So 15 days away that she had for this particular show and still have not sold out. So we're going to keep y'all updated with more of this. But honestly, people say, oh, why do you talk about the interview? The interview was boring. The quality was bad. It was just terrible quality. It wasn't that good at all. Like, did anybody listen to the interview? Did anybody listen to it? Press one if you listened to the interview. Press two, you didn't. And the reason why I listened to it is because my people sent me over. They said, hey, Wiley, you can come watch it for, you know, and see what's going over there. And I wasn't impressed. I'm like, the quality was bad. The questions we heard before. This interview came 2-3 years later. Everything have been said. It's nothing they can say is different, right? Unless they got a tape or they blowing out Jussie Smollett backbone. But it wasn't good. Now, for the people that did see the interview, was it good quality? Was it me? Because I don't want people to think I'm lying. The quality itself was terrible. DC press one that she watched the interview. What was the quality good for you? Because the quality wasn't good for me. It was crackling. It was breaking up. It was not good at all. Okay. Someone said I didn't even know who they was. So, but for me, I zoned out of it because the quality was terrible. They said too. A lot of people said too. So nobody watched it. But they said, Wally, I want you to review. And I said, hey, I can review it. But I was only able to give like 15 minutes in it. Let me go back to it. Let me see. I was only able to watch 28 minutes and 39 seconds of it because the quality wasn't that good. And it's just terrible. I know a lot of folks like to tune in to Tasha K for whatever reason, but we're tuning in for drama and mess. Did you get an STI from Jussie Smollett? Something like that. Something juicy, but just her just sitting down interviewing was dry. Because you don't even know, like, come on now, like it's boring. We're over that particular story. Like, let's be 1000%. But I did keep my promise that I did keep my promise that I will do this show with you guys. I kept my promise and I said, hey, I will come and do this particular episode. But it wasn't good at all. Okay. I forgot about Tasha K, to be honest, just like I forgot about SM, but this interview was terrible. The quality was bad. It wasn't good quality. Like if the quality was good, it would have been great. You know, the quality could have been better. However, the interview was good. They said they not gay, and the oldest gay show a picture of his girlfriend. She is Dominican. Well, they gay for pay, but they have done it. We've seen them in gay clubs. Like people known Jussie have seen them playing around with each other. That's to be a fact. They've been in bathhouse together. That's to be a fact. Maybe in their mindset they can't say they're gay, but the quality was just terrible. Like it was just out of this world terrible. And he can't deny it. He done the thing with Jussie Smollett. They were involved in the bedroom. We know this. They put it out there. They done this together. They done drugs together. Let's just keep it all the way at stay. Of course, they're going to deny and say, hey, I'm not that way because your family is African. You mean you're from Nigeria where no soap and water exists So you already know that you're not going to come out and say, oh, you know what? I like getting my back blown out by a man. You're not going to say that if you are stumped down African. You're not going to admit it. You know, they're dealing with a whole thing, okay? It's not going to happen. So I've been in bathhouses before, and I've seen them around, okay? I think it was like Steamwork. So they've been around. Jesse been around. I was shocked to see Jesse in the top of the room because he was famous, but he been around. It's okay. He was a bottom. Like he's word of the curve versatile. I thought he was bottom. Anyway, he was in the street. So that's why he didn't really get booked for gay clubs, because he was there all the time. When Empire was happening, he was there. He was having a good time. Of course, he didn't really have security. He's out of pretty much the smaller guy was with him all the time. He never had security. So but now that this information have came out that Jesse is a liar and that these African brothers are not really out here, and it's just a matter of time before they do OnlyFans videos with each other and get a 6-figure deal, they're going to do it, or of them screwing like white guys. I can definitely see, or even white women. I can see them making a lot of money. But honestly, I just wasn't that entertained by the interview at all. I wasn't. Wasn't entertained by it. It was a terrible show. The quality was bad. I would have to, it's just like, it's difficult. If I can't hear it clear and precise, I can't hear it. Like, it got to be crystal clear for me to hear it and understand it. And I'm not over it. No, they're not twins, but of course they look brothers, right? They're not identical twins, no. But I love the fact that y'all sit it to me, say, hey, Wiley, talk about it, but it was garbage, all right? It was trash. I have to definitely say it was really, really trash. I don't even know if they put on deodorant, because a lot of Nigerians don't like to put on deodorant. And nothing against Nigerian people, but a lot of them don't like to put on deodorant. And it's really, really, even some of the African women there are not really good with their hygiene. Like the American hygiene is so much better than some of the hygiene in some parts of Africa. Africa has just got, their hygiene is not together. I've dealt with so many people that visit. They said the stench of the smell, they knew they like the bad smell. And I'm not going to speak difficulty about it, but the smell is just out of control. And the smell in Haiti is just out of control with the smell. They said stench of funkiness. That's what they said about Africa. It's not that I'm going to say anything bad about Africa, but that's the word of the curve. They said so many flies and the filth and the nastiness and the stinkiness and the mustiness smell like onions and animals. That's what they said. It smelled like, like animals, a lot of farmland. But they said it's the stench of it. That's how they smell. So that's what they said. And a lot of my people that visit, and I'm not going to speak too heavy about Nigeria, because I do have some people that is from there, and it's difficult because I asked them, do they actually have like degree deodorant, or do they have like Tide detergent, beautiful Tide detergent? I don't know if they have those type of things, because some parts of Africa, they still wash the clothes outside in like dirty water. The water, you can't drink the water because you have so much infection. You have to drink like bottled water. And you have to have multiple shots. And so it's just that type of way. And I know that when I say this, it's going to hurt a lot of people, but the stench of the smell there is terrible. And especially in Mali, they say it's one of the worst smelling places ever over there in that particular country. Or they call it a continent, but you know what I'm saying? They need to do better with the hygiene over there in certain parts of that continent. Not being negative, you know what I'm saying? But it's difficult. It's really, really difficult. And I know y'all upset about it, but the stench of it is terrible. It's really terrible. It's really, really terrible. They said, really, Wiley, what about inflation in the U.S.? Very bad. They said, my Nigerian friend said, it's not good for you, deodorant. Well, we got to have deodorant, and I just got to have it. And the stench of it is just terrible. I don't know about the tango or the over there. Just the stench of it. And listen. Let me say this. I know there's a lot of people in Africa upset, but the education department is just so different. It's like low vibrational compared to American education. The American education is so high class, A class, Africa, not so much. They're still having whiteboards and blackboards and chalk and everything. They rarely get to have money for shoes, and they're walking in on dirt roads. America have one of the most beautiful infrastructure, beautiful roads, and unfortunately, Africa just don't really have it like that. And of course, if anybody totally disagree with Africa or my ideal of Africa, that's fine. But it's my opinion, and it just happened. And it's so much war going on between the Hutus and the Tutsis. There was a lot of war going on there, a lot of destruction. I will never forget it. One of my home guys went to Rwanda, and he was talking about the destruction of those people deleting themselves. There was so much child soldiers and generals taking over different coups that were going on in parts of the continent. So again, I personally I love America. I probably would go to go and visit Africa one of these days, but we really need to be working with the missionary to bring deodorant, okay, body wash, okay, soap, because a lot of times they don't really have good hygiene, and the flies is out of control. The flies out of control, and that's why you get food poisoning when you go and eat in some parts of there, because the stinkiness in that is just not good at all. It's just not good. It's just like the flies, and of course you got to have multiple shots and all of that. And so that's pretty much my idea of it. And of course, there's some beautiful parts of Africa, or whatever the case may be. But I'm just saying, I'm just Americanized when I'm judging this particular place. I know a lot of people say, "Hey, Wiley, you shouldn't say these type of things. It's not good. It's not truthful." But I'm just not. And then a lot of people from Africa that complain, they live right here in America, and they say, "Oh, why are you talking about my country?" I mean, first and foremost, you here in America, right? Because America is the most greatest country ever. The unemployment rate in Africa is at 40 to about 50% of their youth is unemployed. About 40 to 50%, right? The unemployment rate is so high. They have no minimum wage, and they barely able to survive. They have to sell cows and goats for those that have any livestock, and many people have to literally beg on the streets for resources. And so that's pretty much my idea when it comes to that. Nothing against it, but it's just not, of course, not gay friendly. You can't have a rainbow flag with those people in those parts of the jungle. They don't necessarily like you when you put on pink or purple or Gucci thong as a male. They don't understand the idea. And so America is great. America is one of the greatest countries in the entire world. And it is much greater than Africa. We have a lot of wealth here, and Africa is barely making ends meet. Let's be clear. Africa, we have to give so many resources to Africa to help African people. And, we do it out of sympathy, but I feel as though, and I told the president this in a letter to the White House, I don't think we should send another dime to Africa if they don't believe in gay marriage. They have to believe in gay marriage. And if they don't believe in it, we should starve them, honestly. Okay. Now, that's pretty much my idea of it. And we're pretty much understanding that. And this is what we do over here on the Wiley Show. We keep it 1000% real. But when Tasha K interviewed those brothers, the first thing that did they bathe? Because some of my African friends, they didn't really bathe like that. I had to teach them how to give an American bath. You know what I'm saying? I really had to teach them how to give them an American bath, like soap and water. And one of my he grew up in a little hut with no showers or anything. And so I had to teach them how to get an American bath, with soap and water and clean towels, beautiful towels, and not cleaning up with leaves or anything. Honestly, I'm just saying it could be all my idea of it, but I just said he didn't know that this was a clean towel, beautiful towel that you can use. So I'm just giving my ideas, and whether you want to hear it or not, and if you don't like what I have to say, that's fine. But this is understanding in my particular viewpoint. Now, we want to thank y'all so very much for tuning in. I'm not going to be home too long because, again, this have not been good at all. And it's just, it's just my whole idea. Now, if you disagree with my idea of Africa, that's fine. I had a beautiful conversation from the UK, and she was really upset, and she didn't even live in Africa. Her parents fled to the United Kingdom, beautiful kingdom. And I said, well, if Africa is such this beautiful place in Nigeria or which is a lot of scammers in Nigeria, a lot of scammers, and white African people over there in South Africa, they own all the wealth. Of course, they got black people in political positions, but the white folks own all the wealth. But I was asking her, I said, wow, I find it quite interesting that you are upset about my idea of what I do of Africa, but if it's such this beautiful place, um, why are you not in Africa now? Oh, I'm not in Africa now because I'm saving right now. I'm gonna go back. That meaning that you're saving because you cannot really save in Africa because the poverty and the educational system is really broken over there in Africa. They have to be freed upon the greatness of America. We have to give them some type of charity to bring them over here to this country. So, and there's a lot of Africans that overstay their visa to stay here because they don't want to be in that rundown system in Africa. That's just my idea. Now, I'm just saying it's just my idea. Not going to be here too long. What is the point of this live? Where's the content? Or did he just go live to collect a quick coin with no content? Yeah, we talked about it. I sound like you came in late, but that's what's like my whole idea of it. And then when I give my opinion of this entire system, people get upset. They get angry at me that, oh, he said this about Africa. But people talk about Chicago so much, but it's a lot of Africans that moved to Chicago, beautiful Chicago. We have been voted, I believe, Paul, we've been voted the number one beautiful city in the world, number one. And so I love that, but unfortunately, Africa is just not on the list of the most wealthy parts of it. They're not in the top 10. Of course, America is in the top 10. I believe we're number one. Speaking about GDP, and of course, some parts of Africa, Nigeria included, GDP is very low GDP, and Rwanda is really good, but and maybe I'm getting wrong information, but I highly doubt it because I have great people that live over here and they send money back over to Africa. The dollar stress is very strong. We have a strong dollar over there in Africa, and they really, really need it. And so I personally would like to give my ideas about it, but this is what we do. We give ideas. So we want to thank y'all so very much for tuning in to this particular show. And I don't care if you get upset or mad because this is my idea. This is my viewpoint. I talk about different ideas when it comes about that. They say I'm not calling until Wiley goes and reads some history books and does some traveling. Then we can have an intelligent, insightful conversation. Well, I've traveled. I traveled all around, and I could come to a conclusion just about the immigrants, the illegal immigrants that are flooding here. They are literally flooding here because of the poverty in there. And yeah, the poverty are in here, and it's a lot of poverty over there in Africa, and it's so very sad. And then most people that call in from that diaspora from Africa, they're calling in because they can't go back because of the crime and the poverty. They're over here in the land of milk and honey, and you got some African people that totally against African Americans. I mean, why are we over it? Why are you over us? We the same people, but they think they're better than us. You know what I'm saying? You came to our country where my ancestors built, and you over here for free and get all of these free resources, and you got your nose turned up. But then when I go to Africa and I have my nose turned up from the stench of the flies and the stench of the smell, I'm automatically just wrong. But when they come to this country, they think they're better than us, honestly. I don't know why, but if you're better than us, then build your own country. Don't come to my country. America is my country. And I feel like, why come here? And I'm just understanding this, and I'm just giving my whole ordeal of it. And so we understand the beautiful Chicago is so beautiful and way, way safer than Africa, because Africa have destroyed generations of people like the Hutus and the Tutsis. They were fighting among themselves, fighting them. And I most definitely have it all the type of way. So that's what I'm understanding. And I love it. And so I just keep it in. Somebody said a lot of them do think they are better, but not all, but a lot of them do believe that. And that's what they is. So yeah, they have it. And again, I've been around intimate with some African people. And of course, this African man, we used to be intimate, but he had a bad odor. He didn't know he smelled that bad because everybody in his little town or area, village smelled that way. And I said, no, you smell like, I can't really say what I said to him, but I said, you know what? I went to Instacart, beautiful Instacart. And I sent over some products, right? And I bathed them thoroughly. And then he smelled good. He said, I never smelled this good before. I said, it's great because I want you to live in this society smelling good. You can't smell it bad. But I understand culturally speaking, in your culture, the odor, it was just normal. Everybody was funky. Everybody was funky. So I understand it. But I had to tell them, listen, you're right here in America, and we smell good over here, honestly. And so we definitely done it as well. And so I'm just gonna keep it all the way a stack. And I know it's a lot of people upset on my ideas of what I feel about the beauty of Africa. But yes, Africa is beauty of the landscape time, but the stench of the smell of some parts of African people have to get their odor together. And that comes from the lack of resources. Some African people don't believe in having deodorant. You know, they don't believe in bathing, beautiful cologne, smell fragrance. They don't believe in it. They don't just believe in it. They just believe in, hey, let me just put some water, hot water, and forget about it. If they can afford hot water, some parts of Africa can't. They don't have enough wood to burn for fire. So that's just pretty much my idea of it as well. They said some of them do think they're better than us. And they call us lazy, but we're not lazy. We built this country and able and really being welcoming to those people to come over to our country. What we built, our ancestors built, not for them, but for us. But we welcome them because we have a forgiving heart. But if they come over here, you're so lazy, and they just say these different things to us, and we literally embrace them with a toothbrush and toothpaste. Some of my people, we send money to beautiful people in Africa, beautiful people, and we send them like deodorant and toothpaste and so they can brush their teeth and everything. And look what they come to this country and just assault us. So that's just how they go. They said one thing I've noticed is Africans do not call us African Americans. They call us Black Americans. And I don't like that. We an African. We're an African American. And I'm proud of that. I just feel like we need to have more Western American ideas in Africa. That's personally what I believe. And see, this is the thing. And this is the thing. I don't care because like some people get upset about me, they're leaving, but they're still watching. Who cares if you leave? I don't care. And don't announce that you leave because you're going to be blocked. Just stay gone. Because this is my show. And if I feel like the stench of that part of the world stinky, then that's my opinion. I'm not going to allow you to come to this show and tell me where I can and cannot talk about, because I've had people that went there and the stench of it was just a bad stench, a bad odor. And it's just my opinion. Why can't we in this country give our opinion, give our ideas of what we feel about a situation? Let's be clear. Tasha K had to teach her husband how to bathe. He didn't know how to bathe. He didn't know how to clean himself. He didn't know how to do it. So she had to teach him how to bathe. That's what she had to teach him, how to bathe and how to clean himself. He didn't know how to do. He didn't know when he used the restroom, did a number 2, that you couldn't get leaves from the bushes and clean yourself. You literally have to get toilet tissue to clean yourself and clean yourself thoroughly and get dew wipes and to clean yourself. But unfortunately, her husband didn't understand the cleanliness of the American standard. The American standard of cleanliness is different than the African standard of cleanliness. And that's just my humble opinion. And if you totally disagree with me, then you can definitely call in 972-674-9462. You can always call in, but I'm just gonna give my opinion of what I believe in. Okay, I understand. I'm just giving my opinion, and we understand it. And I dropped the link if anybody from overseas that if you have StreamYard, maybe in the United Kingdom, I don't know, in some parts of Africa got internet connection, can click on the link here, but I make sure I drop it as well. Okay. And that's just my personal opinion. I'm not going to be on too long because, again, I just had to come in and give y'all opinion. All right? Hey, Latavia J. Hey, Stella Rosa. Hey, Terry. Hey, Jess Jenny. Hey, to my members. I love you so dearly. And I think Aunt Moss was in here. She's from Africa. She don't live in Africa. She live in the UK. And she just upset that I'm talking about Africa, but you don't even live there anymore because of the crime, the high crime. So, they said, can a person from an African country call in, please? If they want to give their opinion, they can. But I just had to make sure I give my thoughts of it as well. Okay? All right? I just give my thoughts of it as well. If you put in the unemployment in Africa. Okay, give me a second, you guys. Okay, some of the highest rates on the continent in Southern Africa, where 51%. Let me show y'all this graph because, of course, people and they think I'm upset, but we're gonna give the data. What does the data say? That's what we're gonna do right here. We're gonna talk about the data, okay? We're gonna talk about the data. Share this live. So some of the highest rates on the continent are in Southern Africa, where 51% of young women and 43% of young men are unemployed. The large unemployed population indicate lost potential since communities and nations fail to benefit from what the young people call, you see this? You see it. You see it in the bushes here, that the unemployment, 51% to 43%. These are the statistics. But when you say the statistics, people is upset and they mad. But the data say it. Now, with my apology, I said the unemployment is high. If you have high unemployment, how can you afford deodorant? How can you afford soap and water when the unemployment is at a 51% of young women and 43% of young men? Now, when I say these statistics, I know it's making you mad. But if you from Africa, you living here in America. Why? Because the unemployment is low. Now, there is wealth in Africa, but the little people in Africa from all the tribes are suffering while those big, fat, obese African presidents are thriving. Nothing against those presidents, but they're thriving. And the younger people, the young women and the young men are suffering over there in Africa. The data speaks for themselves. Okay? Now, I know a lot of people is upset and they mad, but again, the tribes of Africa, they're suffering. Now, this is insulting, and there's so much corruption in Nigeria, so much corruption in Africa, a lot of corruption. More corruption in Chicago. I mean, the corruption in Africa to Chicago making it like we're just peaceful. All right? So that's what I have to say about that. And I know some people that say they're going to unsubscribe. So leave. Don't announce. You're going to be blocked. I don't care nothing about your announcement. Leave like you left Africa and snuck into another country. You ain't made no announcement. When you say you're going to be in America, just visit and work, you snuck over here. So keep that same. I don't want your announcement. You're going to leave back. You're going to be blocked. I don't care nothing about your announcement. Shut up. Bye. Who cares? I want you to look at this data. 51% of young women unemployed. 43% of young men are unemployed. Now, that's just my whole ordeal. Now, we're going to move on from that. Okay. All right. So, and then it's a lot of darkness in Africa. Not nothing voodoo-ness. It's a lot of darkness in Africa because a lot of part of the African continent don't have access to electricity, with 590 million of them, according to the International Energy Agency, right? 43%, okay, in 2021, 43%, about 600 million people lack access to electricity, right? So it's a lot of darkness in Africa. And so this is the data. Whether you want to hear me or not hear me, I don't give a darn. But can you please tell me why you concerned about my ideas and the data say this? Why is it so dark when Africa's supposed to be so rich? That's what I'm understanding that. It's supposed to be so wealthy, but yet it's so dark. What's going on over there in Africa? And so all the corruption, all of the scamming is in the data. And that's what we have to say. Now, we do want to thank y'all because I just want to make sure y'all hear me. Do y'all hear me today? What does the data say? And the data say that. Okay? Now, I would probably go to Africa and go there, all right? And so I have to get multiple. I don't think I want to go there all the shots. You have to take a lot of shots. And so we definitely, we're going to see about that and go there. But thank you all so very much. But I just had to put that out there, right? I had to put that out there, okay? And we love Africa. I think that we love the people in Africa. I want people to take what I'm saying and take it and don't judge me. And let's have a conversation from the heart. Let's have a conversation from the heart. That's all I got to say. All right, right. I don't want to take this just to have fly on me. Nope. Yeah, I have all the flies. I have to fight the flies. Big, thick flies. So this is my opinion. And listen, folks. Listen. Honestly. I just want us to be honest. Because why is Africa unemployment so high? Because the data say it. Having electricity, right? Many parts of it. And so we're just being honest over there. If I was the president, if I was running Africa, I would invest so that people can have lights. Right? They shouldn't be in the dark. Africa is wealthy, but the African president, they are embedded in corruption. They're starving their people, and the people don't have the proper resources for a light. And that's what I have to say about that. All right? Now, I know I'm triggering some people today. That's all right. But at least you cannot say Wiley did not bring some data to back up some of his points. I brought some data. Okay? Okay? So I would love to be the president of Africa. If I could have about 55 concubines and get fat, and I would come there and serve the people. And I would serve them and give them beautiful lights and deodorant and body wash. I would do it for my people. And so I do personally want to say that I am giving my ideas of Africa, and whether you don't want to hear it at all, I have to give my thoughts, okay? Now, I understand that y'all are upset at me, and we're going to get judged in the comments, but of course, we want to say thank you all so very much for y'all thoughts. We do want to say thank you to Tasha K for bringing those two African scammers, bottoms, on her platform. Bad quality, terrible quality. But nevertheless, I was in my zone to bring this up about Africa. Okay? And that's what I have to understand as well. And then people would say, oh, you're such a xenophobic. No, I'm not. I'm just honest. I'm giving you data. And see, the problem with some African people, they automatically label you some things, but they don't want to give you the data. It is a hardcore data that Africa is, some parts of Africa is in the dark. It is a hardcore data of the unemployment rate being 49% of young men, over 50% for young women. So again, is one thing that I have to say, and people are saying, oh, you're such a xenophobic. I am honest. Okay? Because I say they need to have deodorant. I'm a xenophobe. No, I'm just saying I don't want to smell funkiness and flies and urine and muss. I want cleanliness. That's what I stand for. I'm not a xenophobe. I am a man that's about cleanliness. That's what I'm about, whether you want to believe it or not. Thank you all so very much. Little black boy, you beautiful. Little black girl, you are enough. When times get hard, always remember to put God first. I want to say thank you. I want you to say thank you. I just want to say thank you. Gotta go. I know y'all gonna drag me, Tasha. That equipment was bad. Get that equipment together. You better stop trying to hire them people from Africa to hook it up. They messed it up. You got to get some good, strong Americans. Hey.